Good morning, innovators, entrepreneurs, media. If you're not from here, welcome to San Francisco. You're coming at a great time of year. You're also coming at a great time in the market. If you're a developer in financial services, you're in the right market, at the right time, and in the right place. That wasn't always the case. When we started out innovating in this space 15 years ago, it was very difficult to get things done. Not so difficult now. 15 years ago, we actually had the bright idea when we were 15 people to do a direct-to-consumer business. We had great covers on the Wall Street Journal. We had Wired. We had Red Herring. Yodlee's the next Yahoo. And the day that headline hit, we got 4 calls from 4 banks. The first one said, we're going to sue you. The second one said, we might sue you. The third one said, we're definitely suing you. And the fourth one said, we will crush you unless you want to work with us, in which case we're happy to take you in. So we pivoted our business model very quickly and went after our first customer, Citibank, who's still a customer today. And at that point, we were much like you. We were 15 people in an office space designed for 5. We slept on each other's couches. We subsisted almost entirely on Orange Tang, at least the engineering team did. We spent every penny of our Series A going back and forth to New York, flying economy. One of our founders, we had to get him his first suit, his first pair of closed-toed shoes, and his first haircut. When we hit New York City, it was like the Beverly Hillbillies arriving in Beverly Hills. It was very out of place. But we persisted, we stuck with it, and we got our first customer, and then the second, and then the third. And 15 years later, not that we're proud that it took 15 years, but this is a very difficult space. 15 years later, we've got 1,000 people, 750 partner organizations, powering millions of users across 30 sub-vertical markets. We work with banks and innovators like you, and today we position ourselves as the data and payments API. Bank-friendly, secure, scaled, and audited and supervised by the government, which is no small feat. So getting into this business and making changes is very, very difficult. Getting banks on your side and the government on your side, running a secure service and one that can scale, it literally does, we now know, take 15 years to accomplish. Over the years, we've had literally hundreds of competitors come and go. We love the competition. They come in, they find out it's hard to scale. They maybe can't be secure. They're not friendly to the banks, and they go away. Yodlee's here to stay. We've stood the test of time. Today, we're very focused on being the Intel inside financial services innovation, your innovation, and you're in a really good spot. If you're watching the market in 2009, the banks basically abdicated their throne. They gave up innovation in the financial services space because not only were they unable to do it from a technical perspective, from a fiscal perspective, they were unable to do it during the Great Meltdown. And so that is a huge opportunity for you, and the money has been flowing in ever since. Last year alone, $3 billion invested in Fintech startups of one form or another. 12% of that on Yodlee-powered companies. Very good time to be in the market. It's one of the few digital areas where little guys can still win. Here's a few little guys that we work with that are becoming very big guys. If you haven't seen them before, BillGuard is like credit card antivirus. The Yodlee platform delivers all of their financial data. Personal Capital's rapidly disrupting the way wealth management services are delivered in the mobile context. Venmo, one of the coolest payment apps around. I will bet you 80% of the people in the audience today use it multiple times a day. LearnVest. Think about Mint for women plus Personal Capital, only better. Incredible retirement experience. Yodlee automates all the data that delivers their retirement plans. Xero. They need no introduction. When we met Xero, there were guys in New Zealand just getting into Australia. Now they're worldwide and worth $4.5 billion in a fraction of the time it would take to build a regular business. Very incredible. Kabbage, rushing in to fill small business lending where the banks have not succeeded. Wisely, data-driven Yelp. And then Dwolla, one of the coolest and slickest payment APIs out there, all on the Yodlee platform, all building very big, meaningful, and material businesses. So, what's in that platform? I'll turn to my colleague Cheung to let you know.
Hey, thanks for your handoff, Joe, and hello, everyone. So Joe mentioned that it's taken about 15 years to kind of build this platform. And I'll assure you today that there's no dedicated aggregation platform out there for developers that is as comprehensive as Yodlee's. Let's just go over some metrics. We have over 2,200 developers registered to our site. We have over 27 million API calls daily through our portal and gateways. And we have roughly about 15 million users that we aggregate accounts for on a daily basis. And on top of that, we also have like 62 patents in the US alone for our aggregation technology. All this information should tell you that, hey, we really are the big data providers for financial APIs. Now, how do we actually handle like the big data? Over the years, we work with like banks and developers to create a dynamic data model that normalizes the data across all different financial institutions, so that when developers actually use our APIs, they get a consistent data set when they actually use our interface. Now, it's not an easy job to actually aggregate all that information into a consistent data store, but we were able to manage to do it in the time that it took for us to build a platform. So we have basically over 12,500 data sources aggregated across domestically in the US as well as internationally. And it does take time to kind of build that out. Now, since we actually provide solutions to banks, you know that this is something that we actually have to do consistently and do it right from the get-go. Cool thing about being a big data provider in this space is that the banks are actually aware of us, given our long history of working with them and also providing solutions to developers. And because of that, if they actually make changes to their site, they actually notify us from time to time, which is kind of cool. I mean, that acknowledgement really just states that they validate us as a business as well as us as a platform. Now, why do banks and developers actually trust us as being their data provider? One of the key reasons is that it's not just the years of history that we have in this business, but also with the attention that we have in terms of security to the banking data. Now, we actually deploy a defense in-depth architecture where we have security in multiple layers. I mean, we monitor everything from the network level. We have like security in application level, and also in our data warehouse, as well as the physical layer at the actual servers itself. Because of all that, you know that you get bank-level security when you work with Yodlee, so that you don't have to think about it when you actually work with us. Now, that's a little bit about our platform. Let me talk a little bit about kind of like the future. We have actually some really cool stuff coming up. We announced today that we're actually providing geolocation data as part of our platform. Now, what that means is that when you actually call our APIs and get the financial transactions, you're actually going to get, you're going to have available to you the geolocation coordinates of the merchants as well. Now, it's kind of cool because now with geolocation information, think about what things you could do, right? I mean, you can create like local deals based on financial transactions. You can actually build visual map of kind of like where people spend their money. And you could even do stuff like, location-based expense tracking. So all that is not available right now, but because we're enabling it for our developers, hopefully you will see this information, not too long from now. In addition to the geolocation data, adding and augmenting data in our platform, we're also improving our API platform with our next generation APIs. We're creating our, because of the 15 years we have in building out the data, it takes time to basically create a data model and simplify it from the bottom up. Our next generation API platform will include RESTful APIs as well as a dynamic query language designed with mobile platforms in mind. We're actually in beta right now, and hopefully we're going to roll this out early next year. Now, in addition to the API platform, we're also making some really cool changes to our developer portal and developer resources. Earlier this year, we released our Fast Link, which is a web widget that allows you to add accounts to our site fairly quickly, and also our test drive portal, which allows you to test and use our APIs without even writing a single line of code. In addition to that, we're also making some really cool changes to simplify the navigation and documentation of everything in our portal so that we minimize the integration time that developers have. These are just some of the changes that we're making, and the hope is that we're going to continue improving this so that we create an awesome experience for our developers.
Thank you, Cheung. Just a couple announcements and some invitations. If you're familiar with Yodlee Interactive, we have an engagement program we call Next, where we incubate, accelerate, and cultivate new companies. On October 3rd is the deadline for our next incubator class. We've had a very strong response. We put our money where our mouth is. Every company that gets through it gets $20,000, no strings attached. We put you through a group of mentors, several boot camps around the API, and it's an awesome, awesome experience. Again, this is the second time through. The first time was very successful. So if you're interested, you got a great idea, please apply. Tomorrow, we have some workshops. We have a workshop around aggregation data, wealth management data, and account verification. We also have a code review. All of our engineers are here on the Yodlee Interactive side. Today, more importantly, we have a treasure hunt that Yodlee Interactive is sponsoring from 6 to 8. Stop by the booth to figure out the details, but we're giving away at least $5,000 worth of cool stuff like these skateboards, GoPros, and other sorts of electronics you may or may not have. Let's see something I would like. So show up, participate in that, and then more importantly, the after party from 8 to 12 at the Alchemist, a local watering hole if you don't know it. It's a great spot to be in, but you got to stop by the Yodlee Interactive booth, say hi to the team, and get one of these VIP passes, and we hope to see you at both events later. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Thank you.